up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough.
Well, hello, guys.
Hello,
How are you?
hello.
Hi, everybody. That's not here yet. Anyway, we have Arctic Fox and True Crime Sunshine, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the cases that we were dealing with this week, and then we're going to talk about when is going too far sleuthing when you're hurting a family. Hello, Zapper. How are you? So Arctic, any cases that you can think of that really stick in your mind today, this week?
There was one that I covered the day before yesterday, and then yesterday I got an update. Now, God, it was Terry Shermack, and I think the dude's name was William Todd something. Anyway, let me get it pulled up real quick so I know, because I got too many
Okay.
cases that I'm working at.
Yeah, I'm glad Zapper's in.
Yeah, it's William Todd Cagle and Terry Shermack. Well, when I did the initial video, I thought something was up because dude's phone pinged in South Carolina and her phone pinged in Florida at a day apart from each other. And that's a pretty significant distance for the two phones to ping separately, and that was the last pings. Well, yesterday we get an update that her body, or presumably her body, had been located where they had initially gone missing from, and that William Todd Cagle is now in police custody on murder charges. So that was a case that really ramped up rather quickly, and of course that I'll be following quite closely. And then of course we've been covering, a lot of us in the community have picked up the Jackie Reyes case.
Yeah.
Which is a young girl that's been missing out of Boynton Beach, Florida since the 1st of June. And there's some sketchy circumstances going on in that case on the part of the aunt, in my opinion, because she didn't get reported missing until the 1st of July. And at that point, the aunt still had not reported her missing. The only reason why she got reported missing was because of a call that the mother had received from an uncle. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah. And DeAndre too. There's a case there where that mother's not getting any help at all.
Not from law enforcement by any means.
Yes.
Now, there's two sides to the story. If you listen to the dad and the stepmother, they claim that they've been out hanging flyers and stuff, and they've done a couple of interviews now on YouTube after Brandy did her interview with me on my channel. And I don't know. I'm not there. I don't know who is doing what in the case, but the one constant is that police aren't taking it seriously as they should, because he's a runaway.
Yeah, and the fact that the father is not helping at all. And that's
now the father and the stepmother say that they have been helping, that they've been hanging flyers. And I'm trying to be fair because I haven't talked to the father and stepmother personally yet. And there's two sides to every story. And when you've got a dynamic where two people are fighting for custody of the child, which there is a custody dispute going on. We know that from Brandy herself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it gets complicated, and what both parties need to do right now is put their differences aside and focus on bringing DeAndre home. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do. I mean, you got a child missing. You should be, a joint effort to try to find them. She's in one state, and of course, he ran in a different state. So, because he's a runaway, we run across this all the time. They don't find the importance, and I mean, there's several reasons why they should be important, real important in this time.
Well, especially since he went running from Virginia, which is a high trafficking area.
Mhm.
Um, you know, it's just sad to me. It really is.
Well,
We see all of these cases where these children go missing. They're stamped a runaway, and because they are a runaway, oh well, they left a note. They're good. Well,
right.
no, they're not good. They're not good. This is a 15-year-old little boy out there. He doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a job. I mean, come on, guys. I
And
mean,
it's not like runaway when I was a kid. When you run away, you were mad at your mom, dad. You just wanted to get away. Now kids are tempted to run away through online grooming. And they're a child that isn't real sociable, and they find they socialize through gaming and things like that, and they're just targets. They're like, they get groomed to, oh, your mom's not letting you do this, you should be able to do that. They feed their head for months and months.
well,
And
and that's the thing with
yeah,
with him being in the middle of a custody dispute and stuff like that. Those kids are easily preyed upon, and we see it all the time, especially in the gaming communities. Those gaming communities need to be really, really watched by the federal agents, in my opinion, because there is so much grooming that goes on within those streets.
exactly. And Zapper Cop is in our chat right now, and he's an XLE. And if he's still here, I would like to know how, if he came across runways or missing people cases, how do they handle? I mean, who determines that a runaway isn't priority? Shouldn't have a bolo. Like in DeAndre's case, he didn't even have the police didn't even have a picture of him, and weren't even aware he was a runaway. But yet they said to the parents that they made a report and that they'll be looking for him. So when does that, who determines that it shouldn't be all, everybody search? It should be a bolo, everybody have a picture. This is a missing person. Who determines that? Just because it's said runaway?
I mean, we covered the case of Skylar Linville, who went missing out of Union County, Tennessee. Now, fortunately, she was found safe. I got word of that yesterday.
Yep.
But they didn't even take a missing persons report on that girl for 4 days.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? I support Ellie as much as the next guy. So, Sapper Copy, before I say what I'm saying, I just want to let you know, because I'm good friends with True Crime Web, and I support him. But I don't care who you are. You've got to be able to see the audacity of waiting 4 days to take a missing persons report on a 16-year-old girl.
Right. Exactly. Oh, here's Zapper's answer. He says it shouldn't matter when it's a child whether they run away. It would always be treated as an urgent. Oh, well, that's what we think too. But we're seeing more and more of where they're just not looking. They're not caring. The parents call and they're just getting no answers. Or like in DeAndre's case, when somebody was talking to an officer about him and said, I'd like to see if this is that boy. And they said, well, what boy? Somebody had to show him a picture off of their phone, and because they had no idea about it,
Yeah. I mean, and I've called on cases where the girl. I called on a case the other day to get an update. A girl that was missing out of Las Vegas, been missing for going on 2 years, and I called to see if I can get an update. and they're sitting there telling me they have no information or any record of her being in their system. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking shitting me.
Yep. Now, here's another. He says, as you mentioned already, a runaway could have been a result of luring. Exactly. Exactly. That's what we think a lot of these cases are. They're kids that are online, and, their lives are just quiet. They're not somebody who's, out in this so real big in school and this and that, and they find their life in an online gaming situation, or their socializing is through that. And a lot of these like apps nowadays, like Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok, as far as I'm concerned, they should have some real strong parental settings on there, I guess you call them.
Well, for one thing, like TikTok for sure, and I'm beginning to think Twitter. They need to be they need to force verify the age. You should have to put a credit card number in or something to verify that you're 18 years old. I'm sorry, but when you go and open up your TikTok and you see because it pulls a random video up when you open your TikTok. And I opened mine the other day because I was going to post a video to TikTok. First thing I see is this little 12-year-old girl gyrating on a pole, acting like she's a stripper. I'm sorry, but there should be age limits on who can join that platform if they're not going to regulate it any better than that.
Yeah.
And the moms taking the toddlers and dressing them up like they're grown women, half dressed, and prancing them around as divas.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what's her name? Eleanor Neal or something like that. God, yeah.
TikTok should be banned, Sapper says.
I tend to agree.
I do too. Agree. I do. I mean, it's bad enough on YouTube. You see, victimizing and grooming and whatnot, weird stuff. I mean, we see some very strange stuff, but it is a dangerous app. I agree with you, Zapper. It is a very dangerous app. I mean, I know there was one girl that was on there that was doing like all kinds of really very sexually suggestive things. And you could tell when it was, some of her videos would be like 3 views because she'd just be talking. And then other times it'd be views of over thousands because the girl was dancing. So that to me is strange, Hello, everybody that's joining. Text Jen, Juju, Positive, Leanne, Nancy, V. Great to see you guys. So
bitching and true crime is here too. Watching, she just sent me a message, but she's having to use a hotspot, so she can't really chat in the chat too much.
Oh well, hello, honey. Glad that you're listening. So I mean, it to me, it's like some kind of priorities need to be in certain parts of the U.S. where they're not doing their part, like Virginia.
Well, I mean, we can start by trying to nip it before it starts. Like these online apps, these gaming apps, there needs to be a department, some type of legal and law enforcement that is dedicated to watching that type of platform. The same with TikTok. Well, TikTok just needs to be taken down. So does this stupid Omegle and platforms like that, where these teenagers get on there. There's no supervision. I mean, anything can happen, and Twitter's getting just as bad. I saw something that was sent to me the other day by one of my subs. There's apparently a hashtag that is called MNSFW, and it stands for minor not safe for work. And it's teenagers that are trying to sell pictures of themselves online.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
That
is a whole new level of what was the name of that? What was that again?
Hashtag MNSFW, and it stands for minor not safe for work. And apparently it's a whole new trend on TikTok.
Wow. Hi, Brandy. I'd like to welcome
not on TikTok, but on Twitter. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I want to welcome Brandy. Hi, Brandy. How are you doing?
Hey, Brandy.
We're
it'll be TikTok next if it's one of those trends.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about some like online sleuthing going too far. So I know you've been a victim of that. And there's a lot of families that are really, that I've heard recently, that are like Andrea's. I can't remember her last name. Andrea. We just had her on your channel. The girl that was searched for missing people.
Oh,
And then,
Andrea Knable.
yep.
Andrea Knable, yeah.
Yeah. Her family has been harassed and very badly. And Brandy has been harassed. And why is it that people that are online sleuths and consider themselves advocates, which an advocate would stop that, by the way, would stop this online stuff. That's part of their job or description of an advocate. Let's see, what is an advocate? Victims advocates are trained to support families of crime, to offer emotional support, victims' rights information, help in finding needed resources, and assisting in filling out crime victim-related forms. An advocate frequently accompanies victims and their families members through the judicial process. Okay, so I'm not a paid or certified advocate. I call myself a supporter. Okay, which is somebody who supports a cause. And these people that call themselves advocates, which we know a few on YouTube, who are not certified and still continually use that name and then continue to re-victimize, as far as I'm concerned, families.
Correct.
I have very strong views on that. I am 100% against it. I will not accuse any family, because I'm a firm believer in innocent till proven guilty, wrongful convictions community, so I obviously advocate for that. Besides that, I mean, you're already going through something that I cannot imagine, all right, in most cases. And to blame, accuse, point fingers, and continually do so, I think is a crime.
No, I mean, and they're doing it with that 4-year-old missing out of Yakima, Washington. There is an entire Facebook group out there that is dragging his mother and father, and it's ridiculous. Here's the deal. If after they are proven guilty in a court of law, the family had something to do with it, I'll be the first ones to come on and say, yep, they need to be thrown under the jail. But until I'm shown proof, and I'm not talking about, oh, well, let me weave 5 phone calls together to fit the narrative that I want.
Right.
Until I'm shown 100% solid, vettable proof that that family had something to do with it, no, I'm not going to go after a family.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not either. Here, we've seen it in the Avery case. Folks will present themselves as advocates just to get access to groups and information to use in their own agenda. And exactly, like, even when let's just say you've been given facts to the opposite of what you're trying to steer the narrative in, and you continually do it. Like, if you ask me, a family, somebody who's going through some shock, okay, they're not probably going to be able to answer exactly what they were doing at that time right away. I mean, maybe it will come out a couple days later, because there is such a thing as, shock brain. I don't even know the name, the legal term of it, or I mean, the medical term of it, but it does happen where people do not remember because they're in such shock, and then it comes out. That's fine. But for somebody to continually say, well, the timeline doesn't match, and the timeline is given by the law enforcement, how can you argue that? Okay, how can you try to prove that differently? But I see people continually doing that. Here, Brandy says, I feel for that family. There is over 8K people on Facebook bashing. Yes, and Brandy, I see it, and I really just want to punch my computer every single time. Trauma brain, thank you. Yes, that happens. And nobody is willing to look another way. Once, this is what I see. I see tunnel vision. Okay. I've seen tunnel vision in um, the Avery case, in the Dassey case. That's how they convicted him. The police have tunnel vision. These online sleuths have one thing in their mind. They also are using the hashtag with the child's name to get views and clicks and bring their channel up. I have nothing wrong with getting numbers. I want more people to see what faces I'm putting out of the missing, and that. But when you're using it and not showing that child's face, not talking about that child, why do you have that child hashtag or tagged at all in your videos?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
there's when is it too much? When you're speaking on a child who belongs to someone else, it's not your child you're speaking on. Don't you think you should have some moral obligation to be polite, respectful, and non-accusatory? I do.
I agree. Real
I agree.
humans, real families, real tears, real pain.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
until you go through that situation, you're not you have no clue. As many of these cases as I've covered, and I've been right there through the depth of it with these families, I still have no clue what they're going through because I've never had a child go missing. I've had
Right.
people I care about go missing, but I've never had one of my children go missing.
Me neither. And like I said, my brother was gone for 12 years. We didn't know it was he wanted to be gone, until he come back. But still, yeah, I have no idea what that's like because I wasn't online with it. I wasn't looking for help. I was not, trying to put my child's face in everybody's eyes because that's the only way you can help find a child. So I have no idea, and I can't imagine. And I know I always use that put one foot in, but you know what? Even that isn't good enough to say because you'll never know. You'll never be walking in them shoes unless it happens to you.
Exactly.
We are still having Ellie tell us what they did that day. I can't remember. Yeah, that's another thing. Do you not think that this is something that bothers me all the time? They continually ask the same questions. Do you not think that this family has been asked every single solitary question that your sleuth mind can think of? I'm sure they've asked questions beyond what your thoughts are because they're trained and they know. So up and down, these people have been interrogated, questioned, interviewed, whatever you want to call it. And it goes on until the child's found. So it's not like you're just going to get up there and ask this miracle question and get all your answers. Okay. Because they are doing an investigation. So believe me, when the law enforcement and Zapracop probably can really, he's ex-Ellie, he can probably confirm this. When Ellie says you're not the point of interest anymore, that's pretty much clearing you because nobody will be cleared in an ongoing investigation unless they have a suspect that is arrested and trying to be convicted. That's just not going to happen.
I mean, very, very rarely will anyone be cleared in an ongoing investigation. But when they come on and they say that they're no longer the point of interest or that they're not a focus of interest, that's basically Ellie's lingo for them being cleared. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like a lot was made a while back that Tyler had been Mirandized when law enforcement had talked to him. Well, that is a pretty standard procedure that whenever they want to ask questions of someone, they will often Mirandize them because if for some reason it later goes to court and that interview needs to be used, needs to be admissible in court, had that person not been Mirandized, that whole interview that the police did with them is not admissible in court. So,
Right. And Zabracop says correct that if they're not a point of interest anymore, they're not looking at the family anymore. Back off. Don't you understand? I mean, I'd love to see some of these people. Are they going to be the ones to apologize to the family after doing all that kind of damage? No. Are they going to be, get on here and say, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done that? No. What they do is say that people are retaliating against their truth. Well, it's your truth. It's not the truth, and it's not facts. There's a difference between what you feel and what is a known fact. Okay. So, I feel that, let me see. I feel that Stephen Avery's an asshole. Okay. But he's not, it's not a fact, given by the law. So when does your opinion stop and you start using facts? Facts, truth doesn't need any added, anything added to it. And it doesn't need to be real, like staged or scripted. Truth is truth, and it comes out. So
Exactly. And here's the deal, because we all are guilty of it from time to time. A little speculation is fine, but you need to state, in my opinion, or this is just sheer speculation, and even when you're speculating, you've got to be cautious in how you speculate, as to not make just slanderous accusations against potentially innocent people.
right, it can do long-term damage, as there's several cases I can think of, but one I'll use for, look, that's very sad. Even your children. So even the children have been questioned. Okay. And, probably still are. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I don't know how far they do that, but, and then for people to say things about the children, I have heard things online that is so hurtful when they're talking about other people's children. You just cannot do that. There's
We
limits.
see it in a lot of cases, and then we see, in a lot of these cases where the children end up with their names out and stuff, which
Yeah.
you shouldn't have the kids' names out. Even in the Summer Wells case, in my opinion, Hunter should have never had his name put out there. Those boys damn sure should have never had their names put out there, but it's happened. So
Right. And they've actually been accused of doing wrong. Actually been accused of murdering. Okay. So what? I just think that online platforms like this should, if there is a creator doing these things and going way beyond the limits, I think they should be taken down. I think that YouTube should take them seriously. When family victims or family members are being accused with no fact-based information. And I don't think they should be allowed to do that and make money off of the children that they're speaking of, like Cash Gernon. Very, very good example.
exactly,
Online
yeah.
cybering, bullying to his grandmother. And they're still going through it. And how about Chris Watts, his the Ruseks, they're going through it, and they have teamed up with the Cash Gernon's family, and they're trying to make cyberbullying laws be effective and be put into use for things like this, because them families, the mental, trauma that they go through, besides the trauma of losing their loved one or having one missing. In their cases, it's that both were murder victims. And I mean, I can't imagine accusing and bullying, and for years, not just a day or two does somebody do it, but they all jump on this bandwagon because they see their channel numbers going up and their views going up, and they'll just continually talk about it. They'll make things up. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah.
And I could have monetized my channel ages ago. There's
Right.
nothing wrong with a channel being monetized, even. I
No,
don't
mine
have an
isn't.
issue with that, because a lot of really good channels are monetized, and it costs money to run a channel. You got to pay for your StreamYard, you got to pay for your editing programs and things like that.
And
But
I
when
don't
you
have a
start,
Cash App going around the bottom. You see what goes on the bottom of mine,
yeah,
information on a
exactly.
missing
When
child.
the first thing that's front and center on your channel is a Cash App, it's a problem. When you start posting wish lists and shit when you're talking about
Yeah.
this kid, it's a problem. You know, when you've got all of your mods or your night bot sitting there panhandling for Cash Apps and super chats, it becomes a problem. It's
Mhm.
fine if someone wants to voluntarily give you a super chat. Hey, that's great. If
Yeah.
someone wants to sign up for a membership on your channel, that's great.
Yeah.
But to be sitting there talking about a child that was atrociously murdered, and then in the middle of the live stream, you've got your Nightbot saying, hey, don't forget memberships are available and merch as well, blah, blah. Come on.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I have that stuff. It's in my description. If somebody wants to do it, it's fine. It's something I don't push at all because I do talk. And if I talk about a child, I usually put their face up there, because that's the subject. All right. And I think it should be seen. In fact, I would run a live stream just showing faces without saying a word because that's the only way you're going to help the missing is by sharing their face and getting it out to everybody's eyes because you never know whose eyes can bring that person home. And that's just what you need to do. You don't need to be all of a sudden jumping on the bandwagon and being this great detective that you're not trained for and you have absolutely no knowledge of the law because you're breaking it when you're doing that, saying that you're doing it for truth when you're doing it in a criminal way. It
Yeah,
makes no sense.
exactly. I mean, and there's some that claim to be investigative journalists. Well, I'd love to see their journalism
I'd
degrees
like
if
to see the
that's,
colleges. Yeah.
I do call myself a child advocate sometimes because I do advocate for these kids. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's
Right.
about bringing these children home.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
Well, yeah.
And if I have to call out law enforcement in order to bring that kid home, I will do it.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I agree. I totally.
have I ever called a parent out for bad behavior? Yes, I am. I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, I have called parents out for bad behavior. I've called Candace Wells out for being a bad mom. I didn't say that she had anything to do with the disappearance of her child, though. I just said that she was an atrocious mom and she should never get her kids back.
Yeah. The treatment of the children were bad. And I think society's seen that, the public's seen that. But I didn't find it, I don't jump on them cases when they turn like that because first of all, that case is such a, pardon my language, shit show that
It
poor
is.
child does not even have justice in the long run because of the things that have been done online, like showing a warrant paper, what they took. That should have never been public, ever. I
Well,
mean,
there's a lot of things that have come out that should not have been made public. It's just, as you know, I've got information on several
right,
cases that I've had to sit on.
right,
That's the difference between a creator that's in it for the right reasons, that's actually here to advocate for these kids, and someone that's here for their clicks and views. A creator that's here for the right reasons will have information that they know could jeopardize the case if it got made public, but they'll
right.
keep that to themselves.
Exactly.
Someone that's just here for themselves, they don't give a shit. They'll just release it wherever. So
Well, just like the
Yep.
sighting of Summer, right?
exactly,
Let's
exactly.
use that as an example. We had creators saying that they called law enforcement and that they were aware of it. And that's a flat out lie. And the reason why I know that's a lie is because Arctic, you can tell the story. You did it. So
I called the TBI. They had not heard anything about it, or at least the agent that I spoke with when I called the TBI had not heard anything about this possible sighting of Summer in I think it was Jonesboro, Arkansas.
right,
And so what I did is I reached out to a friend of mine that works with Missing Justice, who happens to live within a 20-mile shot of Jonesboro. She went out there with local law enforcement. She stood back, let local law enforcement make contact with the child that was supposedly Summer. And again, it was a nothing burger. Now, here's the deal. I'm glad it was a nothing burger. You know why? because all these creators who were going on reading this Facebook post and going on, oh my God, Summer Wells was spotted in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Well, what if she had been? What if you had made that live and it was actually Summer, and then her captor went straight to the interstate and took off? You just cost that kid from being found and brought back safe.
Here, first of all, St. Louis area, Missouri. I can't imagine having a child missing and then being attacked like a lot are in these cases. It's really gotten out of control. And I 100% agree with you. And then V says, I don't like when a creator puts up a picture of a child or teen with trigger warning. That means you should not show the picture. Exactly. Like the unblurred pictures from AWP, which in my view, my opinion, and I know my team feels the same way, should never have been blurred and shown a picture of a dead child in her car. And then point out eyes, nose, hair, this, that, whatever. And then I don't know what they're seeing, shadow people, saying that there was more than one person in that car, when that is not true. As far as we know, the law never said that. So you're bringing out theories that don't even, I don't know, maybe been up too late or something. I have no idea. But to me, that was a little bit crazy. I see no sense in that at all. None. And these are all things that happen, and we see them happening. And yet subscribers, who I love, our subscribers, they're here for the right reasons. They're not here to watch drama or to twist a narrative just because it's exciting, or it could be. They're here to help. They've helped us in lots of cases here, just by calling or leaving a message on Facebook saying what's going on here. You're not, why isn't this case getting looked at? Why isn't law enforcement doing something? The mother says this and you're not listening to her. That's all really great, but you got it, Zapper. That's exactly the words I was looking for. That's for shock value. Well, yeah. You shouldn't use real people and real pain and real investigations to be bringing shock value. Okay.
Exactly.
Wait for the case to be done. Then take all the shock value you want and twist it any way you want. But doing that while it's an ongoing investigation is very harmful. Like TBI being called every time, psychopath with the pictures over there saying, oh, I see an arm coming out of the ground, all these children, she's on acid or something. I don't care. She sees things we don't see as normal people, and she calls TBI on it. Now you get 1,000 calls like that, and law enforcement takes your tips seriously. They have to check them out because they don't know. There's possibilities everywhere. So doing that just ties them up with bad information, which slows down the investigation, which harms a child possibly. So, where's your moral obligation? And you sit there and say, I'm here for that child. I'm here. So F that person, the mother, F that father, I'm here for the kid. No, you cannot say that.
No.
And still be here for the child, because that child's going to see this someday, maybe. You don't know. And are you going to be the one that, oh my gosh, I can't believe they talked about my family like that, and give that child more trauma? I don't want that one.
Exactly.
I definitely do not. They destroy people's lives that are already going through hell. Amen. Yes, exactly. And look at Zapper says it wastes valuable resources. Of course it does. You got them chasing a rabbit's tail when there's no reason to.
You look at the lives that I do with these families that are going through this type of trauma. Mm-hmm. I don't ask hardball questions about, well, where were you when this happened? I don't make accusations or anything like that.
Right.
I try to be as empathetic to these parents as possible. Hell, I can't count the number of people I've given my personal phone number to so that they can call me. And I tell them, it doesn't even have to be about the case. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to, So there's a difference in handling a case with empathy towards these families and just being a shock jock. I mean, a
Yep.
lot of these people want to be the next Howard Stern, I think. So,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And our subs are amazing. I had a sub reach out to me last night and asked for a digital flyer so he could print it off and hang in his local area. And that's what brings these people home. So,
Yep. And you're exactly right, Sherry. Those creators wouldn't appreciate those pictures if it was their child or loved one. Exactly. They wouldn't. Hello, Christian. Hello, Victoria. Welcome.
Yeah, and the creators
Tammy.
need to take into effect that, say, if you had a missing person, a missing child, you were a mother or father that couldn't sleep. So you're sitting there in the middle of the night and, you're going to log on to YouTube and maybe watch a beautiful video that that this certain creator may have made for your child. But when you open your feed because 1,000 people have watched this disgusting video, that's what pops up in the algorithm when you search your child's name. Put yourself in those shoes.
exactly.
If you can't
Exactly.
sleep, is that really what you want to see? Whether it be true or not, and it's psychobabble craziness, unblurring pictures and whatever they did or didn't see. But would you want to be that parent? Would you want to be that family member? Would you want to be that grandmother that can't hold that child ever again?
Yeah.
That was looking for that beautiful video that was a memorial or, had beautiful music or maybe her favorite song. I mean, be ethical. Be
Yeah.
human when you make these videos. Be human when you do lives. Because there's humans on the other side.
Well, Cammy, here's the deal. There are creators out there that actually do a value for these children.
Yeah.
And, not all creators are like these nefarious ones. And sometimes the only coverage that missing child is going to get is the video that a creator puts out on YouTube. And
Right.
that's why it's so important to make these videos in an ethical manner.
It
Oh, I
does make a
agree.
big difference because Jackie Reyes' mom, she's been on TikTok just screaming for help and reached out to Arctic and myself. And, now she's all over YouTube, but it's in a positive manner. And as long as the creators use their ethical portions
Well,
of their brain, we can keep that case that way because it's very important that we do for these families to keep these cases clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's why the real crime team, which is us, and a couple others, that we do care. We are here for the right reasons. Yes, do we want to grow? Of course we do. And I say that only because we want more people to see the faces that we're putting out, that these are families that are not getting coverage. Okay. I mean, I don't know how many cases. I mean, almost every single case that I've seen that Arctic or Sunshine does covers, or that I put uh, uh, a poster up on my community wall, because I'm not really into the making of videos yet, like these people are. But I use my community wall like it was, I don't know, it gets used a lot. And I'm lucky there's no limit on it because I constantly am posting things and sharing things. And that's the way to help. Okay. I'm here for the faces to be out there. And yes, I want to grow so more faces, get more people see the faces. And congratulations to our Arctic Fox, who has made 4,000. Yay. I'm so happy for him.
Oh, woohoo.
So, that means that there's more people seeing what he puts out, and he is ethical, and he does demand help from the law enforcement when they're not doing it. And I'm his co-host, so I get up there, and of course I'm putting out links and he's talking his talk, but it gets action. It has been proven. So, it's just, we need to do what we need to do ethically. We've created
exactly.
a
I mean,
society where
you
social
know,
media influences and glamorizes it, and very wealthy. They don't always get, yes, you're right. They don't always get the ethical. Exactly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I think a lot of creators, they come in originally with good intentions, But then as their channel starts growing and they start seeing their numbers increase, they get the big head, and it gets, they change. It changes them,
Yeah,
and they start, being all about the clicks and the views and the super chats. And it's sad
it
that
is.
because if you came here to help these kids, keep it about helping these kids. You
Yeah.
know, I get that some of you, this is your only form of income, and that's fine. Okay,
But
I'll
can't you
give
do
you
it ethically?
exactly. I mean, my channel's only been up for 7 months. Okay, I'm not even monetized at all. And in 7 months, I've gotten over 4,000 subs. And not only that, I'm linked up with organizations like the Aware Foundation and the Gabby Petito Foundation, to where I can make a phone call and say, "Hey, this kid needs to be up on your webpage," and get them up there. Now,
You didn't
I
get that
promise
way
you,
by accusing and speculating and turning narratives and using a child to get
exactly.
money. You did not. You got that way because you're ethical, because what you're doing is just for the faces of the missing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't try to stir a bunch of drama. Yes, I'll put a clickbait title up every now and then, because you know what? That child or that case, it needs to be seen. And if I got to clickbait you to watch that video, then yeah, shit, I'll do it.
Yeah,
But
I don't put a child's name or tag a child in anything unless it's about that child.
oh,
You know,
exactly. I no, 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 I don't do that. No,
right? I
no,
know you
I've
don't.
never done. But
Yeah, you're right. He didn't go that route to make it, and he did make money. Exactly. He does what I mean. I only hope to be such a good supporter. I call myself a supporter because I've never went through advocacy classes. I'm not a certified advocate, but I I I support the missing. I support getting their faces out. I support giving resources. That is an advocate, but I'm not certified, so I won't call myself that, because I'm really tired of hearing these so-called advocates that are so damaging and so degrading to families, and they just don't give a crap. They just think their truth is their truth, and it isn't even the truth. It kills me. And I feel for these families, and I wish I could get all of them that do that off the internet. Okay. But I can't. But there are laws, and I will be posting the rights of victims and victims' families on my community page right after this, because I found a lot of things that I did not know. Like, there is a Bill of Rights for victims, and you need to know that. There are resources when somebody is doing this to your family that you can link up with and maybe stop them from doing it. Bring awareness to them so they don't continue.
exactly. And whenever you go to the description box of my videos, you'll see the list of resources that are
Mhm.
available to these families of the missing, because there are a lot out there. And there's a lot of resources available to runaways as well. And they need to be aware of the resources that are available to them. Now, one of those is a Greyhound bus that I don't necessarily advertise as much, because we've had a lot of issues with Greyhound, with people going missing from Greyhounds here lately. So, but there are a lot of resources that runaways can reach out. The main one is that there's programs out there where a mediator can mediate between the child and law enforcement and the family, so that they feel like they've got an advocate working on their behalf. And a
Right.
lot of times that will help to bring the child home. So,
Exactly. I mean, I was quite surprised. I was trying to find something that had like statistics that I could show you all on what happens, but they really don't have anything that is specific to what I see online. So, I mean, there's a lot of generalization about, being if you were a victim, You know, you can go here. I mean, they're great, and they're great resources. And like I said, I will post them because I try to post so many resources to help, you know, the cases, the families of missing children, so, or missing persons, because to me, everybody matters. Everybody on my panel, every face we see matters. It does get to you. I emotionally get attached by looking at their face, and I want to do whatever I can because I can't imagine that pain. And I pray it never happens, but I'll tell you what, it can. It can happen to every single solitary one of us.
Exactly. In the case of Andrea Knable, where we talked with her sister Erin this
Yeah.
past week, that's a prime example. Andrea Knable actually worked for Missing in America at the time that she went missing herself.
Yep.
So, I mean, it just goes to hell. Tomorrow I could poof and be gone, and y'all would have to be doing videos on me. We
Right.
don't know. But
And who would you want to do videos on you? You know, you're not going to want these. Unfortunately, they're very large channels that do this, and they do have a lot of subs. And I don't understand. I think people get sucked into a story. I think people want to make more of something that it isn't, like Zapper said, sensationalism of it, you know. But
yeah,
in all reality, this is somebody's pain. This is their real life. It's not a movie.
and it detracts in a lot of cases. It detracts from children that actually need coverage. Take this Kylie Rodney case right now.
Oh God, yeah.
The girl has been found,
Mhm.
and you can't let her rest in peace. Every fucking creator on earth right now is doing 2 or 3 videos a day, it seems like, on that girl.
And
And
they're actually attacking the mother for saying, "Please leave us alone."
exactly. Let her rest in peace. Shut your trap. Let law enforcement at least release the autopsy report and everything before you go running your mouth about this girl that unfortunately was found deceased.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, everything is speculation. We don't know hardly anything until law enforcement releases it. So all you're doing is speculating. All you're doing is re-victimizing, and it's ridiculous. Meanwhile, we've got Jolisa Fuentes, who went missing the day after Kylie,
Same
and no
here.
one's talking about her
Right.
because she's not a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, rich girl. She is a Hispanic girl who has some ties to, allegedly has some ties to gang activity, and no one is talking about her. No one.
Right. Exactly. Or that a runaway. He's a runaway. So let's not look for him because it was his choice to leave. Look, it might be a choice to leave one day, okay, or 2 days. But when you're missing for months, I don't think so. I mean, there's something wrong there. Nobody's heard from you. You have no social media, especially when we all know that children live on the social media. They live on their phones. He didn't have a phone, but he has friends. But you know, you don't see that, and you're not going to worry about that if you don't even look at the times that we're living in and how children are or teenagers are, and you're going to discredit that kids are online all day long and they're just going to jump off their social media and be gone. I don't see that as
Oh yeah, that's a huge red flag. I mean, kids are attached to their electronic devices at the hip. You know how I punish my nephew? I turn the Wi-Fi off in my house because you would have thought I killed him.
yeah.
I mean, that's true. I mean, and so when you have a child that suddenly that had been posting on social media every single day and now it's radio silent, that is a huge red flag.
It is. It
Or
really
they
is.
leave their phone behind completely.
Exactly.
They're doing that
Exactly.
so you can't track them. Hello.
Yeah, they are. And they can get a burner phone just like anybody else can, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, they can use somebody else's phone that you don't know. You know, they can make up a troll name like many of the adults do and make a whole new account. They're not stupid, you know, but
And
for
we live
somebody
in
to
the
not,
day of age of free Wi-Fi. There's free Wi-Fi everywhere. McDonald's, Starbucks,
yeah,
walk outside of
exactly.
a business and lean up against the wall close enough to get Wi-Fi,
Hmm. Yeah.
Because they're a runaway, it should be more of a priority because there's a reason behind that fact that child ran away. And that's not bashing the parents by any means. That's something's going on in that child's mind or life
Mm-hmm.
that has caused that child to run away. So in my opinion, law enforcement ought to get off their hands and take that case seriously immediately. We used to wait 48, 72 hours to report a child missing, which was ludicrous. Now we wait 4 days before the police get off their hands.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Explain that case there, Sunshine, about the 4 days. Go ahead and tell our audience.
That was the case that I was watching on Ardit. That lady was devastated.
Skylar Linville's mother, she had to make 3 separate 911 calls over the course of 4 days in order to get someone to come out and take her daughter's missing persons report on a 16-year-old girl. Now, fortunately, Skylar has been found, but come on, guys. Did we not learn anything in the past 40 years? God, the case that always comes to mind is Johnny Gosh. He was a 12-year-old paper boy that went missing 40 years ago, and law enforcement automatically labeled him a runaway and told his parents they had to wait 24 to 48 hours in order to file a missing persons report on their child.
Right.
And now, it's come out. He was abducted by a man in a Ford Fairmont. There's a very high likelihood that he was trafficked. We know a whole lot about that case that we didn't know back then. But it's a prime example that we need to learn from our past mistakes instead of keep making the same ones over and over again.
Right. And law enforcement, when these parents reach out to you, like in Skylar's case, we had a good description of what she was wearing. It's not a very big town. Don't attack these parents. Don't retaliate against the parents, please.
Yeah.
Help.
Exactly. And then what was even worse in Skylar's case is that they raised their concerns with the mayor and with the sheriff's office, and the detective that sat on his ass for 4 days without taking a missing persons report went and retaliated by sending DCS to the parents' home.
Yeah. Now that's crazy to me. You put a little pressure on them, and then they turn around and use their authority to do you harm.
We've seen that in other cases. We saw it in Austin's case. Austin's mom went out there to Sandusky looking for her son because she had told these dumbasses where her boy was from the day that he went missing. The same couple had abducted him 3 times already. And so she goes out there screaming her child's name, hoping he'll come out, and she gets arrested.
Yeah. Yeah. And they went and searched the house, and where was he? Under the mattress. The people were sitting on the mattress as they went and looked through the house, laughing. That is just crazy. People will, the world's a different place. Okay. Face it. It is a completely different place. I think a lot of people drank some Kool-Aid from somewhere that made them go cuckoo, but it could be from COVID, being stuck in the home. I'm not sure. A lot of mental issues that don't get, recognized, and it turns into something else. But it's time for people to just say no to all of these platforms that are bashing, that are accusing, that are putting out non-factual information. Okay. You want call yourself a drama channel and just talk about crap, because that's what you're doing now. But you're using children to get the views, because people care about children. They care about these missing people. All right. And what you're saying, a lot of people don't have other sources of media to watch, right? They watch YouTube, and they expect you to be responsible enough to be giving them facts. When I watch a channel that gives a lot of bullshit, and I see their subs saying, "Oh, thanks for all the facts. Oh boy, you're a great researcher," I want to just go and shake them. Are you serious? Because are you that gullible, or you just want it to be that way? Or I don't know. I don't know the psyche of that. Okay. I'll never understand it, because I'll never be that way. It just never will.
Well, in fairness, those people are the same ones that read the National Enquirer and saw that Elvis was spotted in a Burger King in Kalamazoo and believed it. So,
True enough. Like, we hear a lot, Why doesn't that parent speak? Why doesn't that parent speak up? Well, did you know that John Walsh's wife, Mrs. Walsh, never spoke in public? And her reason being because her son went missing while he was with her. And she carried guilt. Okay. So nobody went and said she was guilty of anything because she didn't speak. But they'll blame other people for not speaking. Maybe that person doesn't feel comfortable speaking. Maybe they're hurt. Maybe they have guilt of being the last one to be there. Maybe they just are socially awkward. You cannot accuse somebody of doing something horrible to their child because they won't speak to you or speak in
Exactly.
public.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
they've watched a recent missing child's family be bashed and drug across the internet like
it,
animals.
exactly, exactly. I mean, and there's a lot of cases like that. You know, Morgan Nick went missing from Arkansas 30 years ago. Her dad has never spoke publicly about the disappearance of Morgan Nick. It's always been her mom advocating for her. Some people just do not have a good public presence. Some people have social anxiety. You know, I have social anxiety. You may not know it because I talk on these channels and stuff, but I do.
I do
And
too.
the only way I'm able to get my voice out there is I tell myself, yeah, I'm talking to a screen. That's it. I just focus on the screen. I don't know if there's 500 people in chat or if there's 5,000 people in chat. It doesn't matter because I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to the screen in my mind. So
Exactly. Yeah, I have the same thing. I think a lot of YouTubers have that, and then there's a lot of people that think this is a career and it's a TV documentary show, or they want to make something big of themselves, but they go around, I guess why I call our team Real Crime Community is because I think the true crime community is truly a crime. Okay. What they do is criminal to me. Okay. And it really is what they do to families and how they get their content and who they use to do it. And these, scripted things that they pass around as fact, it is criminal. And you really can be charged with it. So you need to be careful of what you do. And most of all, why don't you just think of how it might feel for you to be in them shoes?
oh
And
yeah.
if it ever happens to you, and I'm not wishing this on anybody, but what if it did? Would you want some creator saying you were guilty of something because you didn't speak, or because you couldn't get an exact time of the day because something traumatic just happened to you and you happen to say something different, or you get friends with phone calls that are half put out and put out to make you look bad when there's no proof of it? Would you want any of that happening to you? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's no damn way in hell I would want that shit happening to me or any of my family members. So I would never do it to somebody else. And I think that they need to I think they think they're untouchable. What they're doing is justice for the child, and it's not. It definitely is not justice for the child. And I feel bad for you if that child grows up and sees that stuff and then attacks you online by saying what a rotten human being you were to his family or her family and what you've done. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on that side. What's Zapper say? If my daughter went missing, you'd never hear from me. I would be out looking for whom took her and don't want to draw any attention to myself so I can take care of business, then find them. Yes, exactly. I mean, like Brandy, for example, she's out all the time advocating for other missing children,
Children.
for other
Yeah.
missing people, actually making laws that will not even help her child. Okay.
Well, I
But
mean, she
she's
was
thinking of
instrumental in
other
Monkey's
children.
Law, which will help other children. There's
Right.
been several cases that she brought to my attention that I
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
have known about had it not been for her. That's the thing. We see so many of these families that turn into advocates because they don't want it happening to another child. They know the pain better than anyone. And so they advocate for changes on behalf that can help the parents going forward.
And I've
And
always said that I think you get the best information from how to help from a person who is going through it. Listen to them, what they're saying. And you know what Brandy says? Share, 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 share Michael's face. Put his poster out, share it, put up posters, share it every which way you can. Why? Because that is how you get his face in front of all eyes. And you never know what eyes are going to bring that child back.
exactly. Welcome Bieber, welcome Six Sense Amelia.
Yes,
I'm glad
welcome,
y'all could
welcome.
make it to the chat. But yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing. Share those flyers and share them across all 50 states.
Yes,
Because guys, I've said it 1,000 times, when a child is abducted, or especially when a child is trafficked, the likelihood of them being found in the state that they went missing from is very, very slim. They usually are found miles away from where they were, trafficked from. And
well,
so
one was just
that's,
found in one state and came from another, right? In Tennessee and was in Alabama, I think,
yeah,
wasn't she?
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And if you look at the long term missing are usually come from a place that the interstate highway is running very closely to them within 5 minutes of them. And I'm sure they're taken out of state. I don't have no proof on that, but I'm telling you, there's going to be statistics out there to show you, if a child is long term missing. I look at the map and I see there's always interstate highway right where that child comes from missing. It's unbelievable to me that law enforcement does not close off highways. Okay, I think they should. When there is a minute there's a report, I don't know. I know it costs a lot of resources, but don't you think that our children or people in general are the valuable future we have, and we should have their safety at any cost? It shouldn't cost, the dollar amounts should never matter. Like with
No,
the children in school, and all these, school shootings and threats of shooting. Why doesn't every school and every classroom have one of those safety boxes? Why are we not investing in that? Why are we not investing in ways to prevent missing children, or to at least catch them right away within the first few hours, like
well, yeah,
stopping
exactly. I
highways?
mean, and why doesn't every city in America have one of those child drop-off safety points,
Yeah,
or baby boxes, or whatever they call them? Because we're seeing a lot of cases here lately where these children are just found abandoned.
yep,
And if every city in America had one of those drop-offs, it would make a huge difference.
yep, it sure would. I mean, there are things that we should, as citizens, be putting forth to our senators and our governors, and trying to make change in our states, because our children are our future, and we need to protect them. We need to do better. Okay, as a society, we have to do better.
Absolutely, we do. I mean, and with all the CPS failures, look at the case of little Everly in New Hampshire.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, that child was failed by the system. We're seeing so many of these children that were failed by the system, and we've got to reform CPS. We've got to reform the Amber Alert system in order to make sure that all these children get alerts, and to stop these children from meeting catastrophic ends while they're in the system.
Exactly. And I'm put out, and I'll do it right again. I'm sticking it out there. There is a petition. Arctic, why don't you explain what you started and what your petition's about?
What I'm proposing is that every child under the age of 18 get an Amber Alert, regardless of the situation under which they went missing. Whether it be runaway, whether it be trafficking, whether it be whatever the case may be, anyone under the age of 18 gets that alert put out. Because we know that Amber Alerts work. We know, statistically speaking, if an alert is put out, that child is found in a matter of hours. Whereas if not, and there's exceptions to every rule, but we've seen it time and time again. Most recently, we saw it with the little girl that went missing in Ohio. That Amber Alert is what saved her life. I
Yep.
mean,
Well, there's been Amber Alerts, and then you're going to make a video, and boom, that Amber Alert's done, and the child's found. That's fantastic. But we don't live in a perfect world. So because of that, everyone deserves one, because everybody matters. I've said this for years, in the wrongful conviction community and here. Every single person matters. There's somebody's loved one, somebody's brother, somebody's mother, somebody's child, somebody's uncle, somebody's aunt, somebody's cousin, somebody's friend. They all matter. They're all loved. And no matter what, if it's they're on drugs and ran away, so what? Find them, bring
well,
them
I mean,
back to their
what's
loved ones.
really
Them are
what's
temporary
really
things in life.
what's really saddening to me is a lot of these people that should by all rights qualify for a silver alert, and they're not getting them. I can't count the number of cases that I've covered where these people suffer from dementia or they have some type of urgent medical need, and there's no Amber Alert out. Austin Lara, I'll bring him up again. He was autistic. He was without his meds for the entire time that he was missing, but he didn't even get a silver alert.
Yep.
I mean, we've got to do better, guys.
Yeah, we do. And here, this is coming from ex-law enforcement. It says, even if a child is a frequent runaway, maybe next time is the time they are snatched up. Yes,
Yep.
that's true. You do not know, and possibilities in this world and these days and what people do is so unpredictable. It is, I mean, you think you hear it all, and then boom, something else comes along that makes you go, what the fuck? Sorry, but that is exactly, you go, what? I thought I seen it all. Us as creators, I have a word of advice for all you creators out there that are doing these things. Just stop. Just stop. You're a bad human. You're hurting people, and you really are not helping. I do not come here thinking I am going to solve a case or bring that person home, be the sole one to bring them home. But I am here to put out their faces, to put out the facts of the case. And that's it. I'm just here to bring awareness, okay? And to be some kind of support in a safe area where families can feel they can go and put their child's face out, I mean, where I'm not going to be saying, well, because you didn't talk today, or what do they mean by that? Even when law enforcement's saying, they go, well, they didn't say cleared. Well, you know what? That's not a term they use. And in an ongoing investigation, if you're that stupid, they will never clear anybody unless they have a suspect arrested. Okay? Let's get real. Learn your investigation skills.
Exactly. I mean, there's been a number of families that I've reached out to that, for whatever reason, didn't get back with me, didn't want to talk on YouTube. And I understand that. Given what's out there, I completely understand it. But you don't see me going on my channel and saying, well, because they didn't talk with me, I honestly think that such and such had something to do with such and such going missing. No, that's not how it works. They probably don't want to talk to you because they see the type of bullshit you put out on your channel, and they see the type of bullshit that's within the YouTube community. And it scared a lot of families from coming on these channels and talking about their missing kids. And that's a shame, because nobody can tell these children's stories better than the parent can.
Exactly.
But I certainly understand their hesitation to go on these channels, given how certain creators have handled certain cases. So,
well, as far as I'm concerned, you see Cash Gurdon, then you see Summer Wells. And then when Summer Wells is chilling out, nobody's covering her case, they try to attack Michael Vaughn. Okay? So it's just, what one can they cling on to? What one can they, because it's, they haven't found the child, they think they can put things into it or tear apart something that has looked strange to them. Okay. And they make this big thing that is not anything but destroying family. And, when you bring in the other children, and I tell you what, I think you should be arrested for that. I don't care. I think when you're going, that's way beyond the line. Okay. Bringing in children, stalking their homes, all that stuff, you should be arrested for that. And look for in my community page, I am going to be putting down, there are victims rights, constitutional rights. And a lot of people don't know that. So maybe these creators need to check that out, because you can be sued. You can do jail time. So if you think just because you say it's for entertainment purposes, you get by with that, you won't. You won't in the long run. And I hope some of these families take it that far and do start finding these creators and online bullies, Twitter, whatever. And I do hope they prosecute them, because it will put a warning out to stop that crap, because you're not doing any good. You're not helping an investigation. You're not helping the child. You want to help the child? Put the child's face on your YouTube channel while you tag it. Okay. And talk about the facts of that child. Okay. And that's it. That's the best way you can help. And I don't know of any other way. And I hear it constantly. What does Brandy say? Share Michael's face. Share Michael's face. Please share Michael's face. That's all you ever hear her say, because she knows that is the best way to get her children or her child found. What is this?
Exactly.
Drop those channels like a hot potato. Don't give them a view. I agree. And yes, too many distractions to hinder the case. Exactly. Look, you're not a detective. You're not paid. You're not a professional. You don't have a certificate. So online sleuthing doesn't give you the right to do what you're doing. Just because you say it's for entertainment purposes only, that is not a clear all. It is not a clear all at all.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and here's the deal. You'll notice that most videos that we put out are like 2 to 3 minutes long. And I know that's not an incredibly long video, but you know what? That is the facts that law enforcement has put out, or that the family has disclosed, or that a legitimate news source has disclosed. I'm not going to put out speculation. I'm going to put out the facts as we know them and get that child's face out there, because that's the important thing, is getting that child's face out there, or that missing person's face, no matter what the age. So
now, see, here's a mother who pushed for a law to help other missing children in the future, and they're going to accuse her of doing something. You ought to be, I mean, seriously, people that do that should just straight up be taken off this platform, not allowed to speak about it anymore, and they should just poof, be gone. Like I say, I pay them no mind. Okay, I see it throughout the YouTube streets. We see a lot. I don't condone it. I'm completely against it, and I will stand up against it, because it is not right. You should not be insinuating, accusing, pointing fingers, or any of that stuff. You want to help, you put their child's face out on your channel. You talk about the facts. And like Arctic said, so it's a 1 or 2 minute video. Big deal. Do as many as Arctic does a day. Okay. This man here puts out more videos on missing people than anybody combined in this whole community. Okay. Well, in the real crime community is small, because we don't want any of these clicks and views and grow a channel kind of people. We're not about that. We're here for the faces. We're here for the families, to give them a safe place to speak about their child. I'm not going to question them. I'm not going to interrogate them. I'm not going to ask them questions, because that's not my job. My questions would be, do you know of any place where your child might have went? Do you, was there something that, some phone call or something that might led to this? Them are the kind of questions I would ask. I would never ask, so where were you? What were you doing? And why did you do this? That's not my place, nor my business. That's the law enforcement's business.
And we see a lot of things in a lot of these cases where things could be done, should be done by law enforcement, that they're not doing to find these kids. How is a child going to run away and you don't get a warrant to look through their social media at who they've been talking to for the last week?
Yeah.
That makes no sense to me.
Mm-mm. It's
Or
like I
go a
say,
county over, and the law enforcement doesn't even realize that the kid's missing from one county over.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
that is so true. And then you got parents that have their children being murdered, like True Crime Sunshine deals with the 13 billboard of 13. I can never get that straight. That is something that drives me crazy. Um, these are all unsolved, and the law enforcement isn't helping, and there's no answers for these families. And I don't hear anybody talking about that. I don't hear them asking this law enforcement questions like when Arctic does, he gets on there, why aren't you helping? And here's how we can as a community help by leaving a respectful question on their Facebook, by asking them, why aren't you taking this seriously and naming the case? You get enough of that on their Facebook and their social media and their websites, they do something. Okay. And it's proven, it's been proven. Okay. So why isn't somebody why aren't they giving these families answers? At least calling them back, or
They like to delete comments off Facebook, or they'll block your whole account. So you have family members that have 20 or 30 different Facebooks just so they can comment, or people like, that are helping bring awareness for the cases that have to have 4 or 5 different emails and 4 or 5 different Facebooks because District 13 and their websites and their social media have blocked all your accounts. Or these people even go so far as to ban family members from federal buildings, from the DA's office, where they actually have a sign up with the family member's name listed that they're banned from the building. Not even sure how that's legal, but
I've never heard of that.
That's how this District 13, that's how these families are treated. And no justice. Every face on that billboard has zero justice.
Exactly.
Massive amounts of evidence to show.
This is it is so crappy that it would be nice if Brandy's mission could have been a federal law. No, we have to fight for these laws in every single state. Oh, and yeah, I got views on that. But we have to pay car insurance and wear seatbelts is federal. Exactly. Let me say something. I have said for a long time, especially coming from the wrongful conviction community, that state to state laws do justice to us as a whole. Zero, zip. Okay? Because my state might give everybody an Amber Alert, and then Wisconsin gives nobody one. So what good does that do when it's the next door state and that kid could be over there? You know what I mean? I do not understand this state. Oh, independence. Yes, that's what we're built on. But it's time to get together as a country and start doing better for our future and our children, and stopping some of these crimes against them and not making it possible for them to get away with them. God forbid you happen to be POS or POC and needed assistance. Good luck finding out about your loved one part. Oh, geez, that's terrible. Well,
yeah, we covered Lyric's case. That was a very sad outcome. Certainly not one that we were hoping for, and we're trying to stay up to date on the updates in that case. But yeah, as far as the state to state laws, I think we are called the United States for a reason.
Yeah.
So state to state laws are bogus in my opinion. It's ridiculous. And it's not just that the rules and regulations are different from one state to the next. A lot of times they're different from one jurisdiction to the next. And, you know, here's the thing. These Amber Alerts, when they do go out, instead of just being broadcast to that particular state or sometimes just a certain amount of miles within the state, they need to be broadcast on a national level, because as I said earlier, these children may not be in that state any longer. And wouldn't it be great for those of us that are creators that do cover these missing cases if we could get every alert sent to our phone? And they need to be broadcast not to just the phones. They need to be broadcast like emergency broadcast signals to the television, to the radio, to the streaming services even, because like I said, a lot of people don't even watch traditional television anymore. Wouldn't it be great if when an Amber Alert went out, you got a little scroller bar going across your screen letting you know all the details about that missing child? That would
Yeah.
be wonderful.
If you can do if you can give tornado warnings statewide, why can't you give it, why can't you do the same for an Amber Alert? I don't get it. I don't. I mean, I know in Minnesota, I can only speak from the state I live in. When there is an Amber Alert, there are those billboards on the highway, okay, and they speak about it, and I do get it across my local television and my phone. But it's not like you said, a lot of people don't watch, and unless you sign up for that on your phone, you don't get it. And a lot of people don't watch regular mainstream TV. So unless you're on the highway, you ain't gonna know. You could be walking down the street and that kid could walk right by you. You wouldn't know about it because you didn't get the alert. So we just have to do better. So please sign Arctic's petition that I put in the chat. I'll drop it in here again, and let's, as a community, let's do better for these families. Let's put some compassion and moral obligation, and definitely limits onto what you do and say. If you're not a certified advocate, don't call yourself that. You're really not. You're a supporter. Okay. And if you are an advocate, you shouldn't be doing that. Okay. And don't go sign yourself up for search and rescue when you talk trash about families, because that stuff don't work. That's all stuff you should not be doing. Do not contradict yourself. Okay. You look like a fool and you're doing nothing. All right. But getting clicks and views and making money off of a child's back. And you should be ashamed of yourself for that. Yeah. I wish they did have on milk cartons again. I really do. But we don't have milk cartons. We have plastic. We actually heard one out of Oregon the other day. It was so unclear. I thought it was a little boy, but it was a little girl. Is it truly updated? Yes, I agree. Thank you for signing. Everybody, thank you for signing. Pass it around. Put it on your community pages. Let's get Arctic's petition up there. We need more signatures. It won't let you click on it. Well, then Arctic, you want to put that in put it in there. Can you put it in? Because I might have the wrong, when I copy and paste, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, give me just a minute.
Yeah, he'll put that out there. And Sunshine, what do you have going on this week? Anything planned or a case you're working on?
I mean, the main thing I've been digging on is I did put out a couple of videos on Candy Green. She's missing, or Candy Gonzalez. I'm sorry, Green Gonzalez. She's missing out of Kentucky. She's been missing since June the 1st, 2021. And then actually Jackie's case, I'm working on Jackie Reyes. If anybody's in South Florida, I've got my feelers out there on my side, like with my son who used to live down in Boca. But anybody that used to live in South Florida, there is a short video on my channel that has some surveillance footage, and I'm elbow deep in trying to find this strip mall. So that's where I am, is I'm looking cameras and
they call
going through
the
vape shops and strip malls.
Yeah, they call them so many different things in Florida. I was really surprised. They don't just call them a tobacco shop. And sometimes they don't even advertise it like that. It's strange. So I imagine what you're going through.
Yeah, and I've comparing pictures, because a lot of these vape stores, they're proud of their merchandise, so they'll post it on their Facebook, and you think you found the wall that matches, but the floor doesn't match. So
yeah,
anybody that thinks you recognize, my main thing is the pillars. If I can locate, it's an older shopping mall. So that's really what I've been digging on, is her case. I'm intent on finding what vape store this was that she was in. And it's anywhere in South Florida, because once you get down in that part of South Florida, it's like town hopping. The towns are really small and they're beach towns. So it's like really compact down there. And it's not, it's not anything to jump on a bus and be from Boynton and to Miami,
yeah, exactly.
Nothing, it's just part of your day.
Right.
So
and you got to kind of watch them areas, and everybody in Florida, pay attention, and this is a good question, or a good statement. You don't even see children's posters in grocery stores. Grr. Guess what? You can make that different. You can take a poster. In fact, I encourage every sub, if you see posters here, get a hold of one of us. If you can't get the poster, if you can't screenshot it and print it or whatever, get a hold of one of us. We'll make sure you get them. Put them up everywhere you can. Go to your grocery store, ask them if you can put it up, because you can make that difference. And just because the child is missing in Tennessee, I live in Minnesota, I'll put up a poster because that kid could be here. If it was in Alaska or Canada, there was a child found in the United States that was from Canada. So it happens, and they could be anywhere in the world. They could have gotten a plane and been taken out of the country. There's ways people do things, and a poster and their faces are the best and most important way of helping that missing person. So I encourage everybody to share everything you see on every platform you have, or even to put them up in your neighborhood. Pass them out to your neighbors. You go on your dog walk at night, put it up at the park. You're at a gas station, put it there.
Do what I do. Tape it to the back of your pickup truck window.
Yeah. Bring it to the gas station that you go to every day. I'm sure that they're not going to, most people would not frown on putting up a child's missing poster. Okay. Now, look, I do understand that franchises like Subway will not do it. Okay. You're not allowed to do that. But if you put pressure on them, maybe they will. Maybe there's a store next door to them that will allow it. All you can do is ask, and all they can do is say no, right? So
yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of things that these stores, especially these big franchise stores, could be doing, should be doing, that aren't doing, that hopefully, the next petition I put out can change. I would like to see these stores that have the job killer self-checkouts display in the corner as you're checking out the faces of missing children. That would make a big difference. It would certainly do more to bring these kids' faces front and center than the milk cartons did. We could also do it at the gas station pumps, where you're sitting there paying at the pump, and that's, instead of it advertising nachos for you to go inside and get your arteries clogged, it could be advertising a missing child's face.
Exactly. And I really like that idea about the gas stations. And, I wish I knew how to write, a form to, business wise, to put off to these, companies and ask them why they don't do that. Why wouldn't you join a program like Missing Exploited Children to put your posters out? I'm sure maybe there's somebody in our audience that knows how to do that. Maybe they are good at writing that and they can figure it out, and maybe they will do that. That would be great, And that's another thing. We come across so many like Amber Alert with no child picture. It does follow.
Exactly. Right, we had one just this past week.
Yes.
An Amber Alert without a picture of the child. We didn't even have a picture of the suspect at first, and then they eventually released a picture of the suspect. But I mean, come on, guys.
Why not Subway? Subway has policy of no posters or solicitation of any sort on their windows. That is, and I know that for a fact. I was a manager, and they would not allow me to put up a poster of a missing child, and I went ballistic. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me! This is a child. It's not advertising their come try my new." My new therapeutic rub, or I'm selling a car, or here's an old couch for sale. It was a child's face. So I was appalled. And I quit shortly after that, actually, because I could not believe their policies. But, the only way that they'll change policy is that somebody brings it up to them. I mean, maybe some of these gas stations never thought about putting missing posters because it's never been brought up to them. So maybe just suggesting it is a good thing. Call good one. Call the corporate office and ask them why they don't do it. They get enough of those calls. They try to please the public.
Better yet, hit them where it hurts. Go to their Google reviews, go to their Facebook reviews, go to their Yelp reviews and say, hey, did you know that such and such store would not allow me to put up a poster of a missing child? I don't think I'll be doing business there anymore.
And
Yep.
Christine, you are so right. Let me tell you something. I get so frustrated because I really have a heart for the Native American and Indigenous that are missing, because it is way out of control, and it partially due to their laws, and then our laws. But they don't have pictures, and South Dakota is a very, very, very bad state for that. I will look and see 2 pictures out of 20 that are missing. And it's really hard to find a missing person by 5'4", 130 pounds, blue eyes, brown hair, whatever it is, whatever their description is. It's really, I mean, if it's terrible. So I encourage all parents, take pictures of your children, keep them available. I know that there are programs out there that you can get up to date in case they come missing, things, fingerprints, such and such, all that stuff. Please check them out. And again, I will put that on my community wall of resources that I will be busy doing today. And maybe I'll put out a video. I don't know. I could do that too, so people can go back to it, because my gets lost in my millions of faces on my community. I think my community page is so overworked, but I like it. And that's my way of helping. So anything else, guys? Otherwise, any questions? We've been
I just want to thank everyone for being here. Six Sense Amelia, Brandy, Christina, everyone. Just remember to share the flyers out, to share the videos out when we put them up, because that's how children get brought home. That's how we've been able to bring a lot of children home. It's because of you all sharing these videos that channels like ours work. If it wasn't for y'all, we would just be talking to a computer screen to ourselves, which I talk to myself often enough. I don't need to do it on YouTube. So
I'm a Gemini. I talk and answer. I talk and answer. So imagine that. How about you, Sunshine?
I'm just the same. Thanks for everybody for being here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a strong, honest community, and keep doing the right thing. Hold your heads up and be here for each other. Be here for the families, and just keep pushing and keep doing the right thing. And don't let the darkness shadow your light.
Exactly.
And if you see something, say something.
Right on. And you never know. You could be the eyes that bring them home.
Absolutely.
So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you next week, same time. And look for Arctic and Sunshine's channels. If you haven't subscribed, please go do so. Subscribe to Savannah right here, too. She needs her community page so she can put out videos on these bullies. And another person that you should sub up to, which I don't have her link, but it is in my description, is Juju Bones. She needs her community page, and she's a very good creator. So please go to the good creators if you really care. Share all their faces if you can on multiple, wherever. Bring them with you to the park. Like I said, it's never a bad place to put a missing face. Okay. So make sure that everybody's aware and sees their face, because you could be their eyes. Thanks, guys. I will see you all later in the next one.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
I've been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what